Okay. So, yad ahankaram ashritya na yotsya iti manyase mithyesha vyavasayaste prakritistvam niyokshati. So, as I have already mentioned that Krishna is here describing the meaning of acting through false ego. If you do not act according to my direction, which he has given in 56 and 57 and 55, 56, 57. Do not fight. It means he's not working under Krishna's direction and he's not fighting. Then what happens? Then you will be falsely directed. By your nature, you will have to be engaged in warfare. Then what happened? Acting under false ego means everybody has their own nature. Everybody has their own swabhava. So if we are engaging that for Krishna through our varnashram dharma, then it becomes yoga. If we are doing for Krishna, then same swabhava, because we know that in second chapter we have studied that as a soul we cannot keep quiet, and a soul is always active. And how we will act? According to our nature we will act, and we cannot stop acting. So if you are not acting under my direction, Krishna is telling, under my direction. If we are not following Krishna, then who will we follow? We'll follow our swabhava and we'll act. If we are not working for Krishna, then we will work according to our nature. But we will not keep quiet. And if then for that working, then we will be entangled in the laws of karma, and because we are not acting under Krishna's direction. And this much we know till now. This is Krishna's opinion. So how we can, from the Prabhupada's translation, it is not clear that this person is engaged in the is engaged under the direction of false ego. And this in translation it will not be clear. But if we see the original Sanskrit verse, what is Krishna has mentioned? Yad ahankaram ashritya. So yad means if, and ashritya ahankaram, and means if one has taken shelter of false ego, and like this Krishna is mentioned. That's why I have told that Krishna is explaining the meaning of acting under the false ego. So Krishna is mentioning the person who is acting according to his nature and is acting under the direction of false ego. So acting according to your nature, that is not mentioned by Krishna. This is Prabhupada's translation. But actually, what is Krishna's words? That Krishna is telling that this person will act under the direction of false ego. Yeah. But acting under the direction of false ego, that Prabhupada is translated as acting according to our nature and without direction of Krishna. In the direction of Krishna also, we will act according to our nature only. Because what is Arjuna's nature? His nature is a Kshatriya nature. Then what he's, but he is acting under Krishna with same nature. And acting under false ego means acting under the same nature, but not under Krishna's direction. Okay? So that is the acting under false ego. So translation is, somebody can read the purport.
Arjuna was a military man and born of the nature of the Kshatriya. Therefore, his natural duty was to fight. But due to false ego, he was fearing that by killing his teacher, grandfather, and friends, he would incur sinful reactions. Actually, he was considering himself master of his actions as if he were directing the good and bad results of such work. He forgot that the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present there, instructing him to fight. That is the forgetfulness of the conditioned soul. The Supreme Personality gives directions, as to what is good and what is bad, and one simply has to act in Krishna consciousness to attain the perfection of life. No one can ascertain his destiny as the Supreme Lord can. Therefore, the best course is to take direction from the Supreme Lord and act. No one should neglect the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the order of the Spiritual Master, who is the representative of God. One should act unhesitatingly to execute the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead that will keep one safe under all circumstances.
In essence, what Prabhupada is telling here, that example of acting according to our nature. Whose example Prabhupada is giving? Arjuna's example. So Arjuna's nature is a Kshatriya nature. And for him, it is natural to fight. So in this way, we have to act according to our nature, Prabhupada is telling. And but if Arjuna, suppose, if Arjuna is refusing to fight, then what is that Prabhupada is explaining? And, then what is the meaning of that? He's telling that why he's refusing, because he's acting under false ego, and that's why he is refusing to fight, and he has fear, and because he is acting under false ego. What is that fear? That by killing his relatives, is who are they? Teachers and Drona, grandfather Bhishma, and other friends, he would incur sinful reactions. That was also his fear. Because of these fears, and he is acting under false ego. And then Prabhupada is telling that forgetfulness of conditioned soul. So what he is telling, that Arjuna, like conditioned soul, he forgets the relationship with Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then he thinks himself to be master. He forgets his original master. And then whom he consider master? Himself. Then we have to act under the direction of our master. And then that is Krishna's recommendation. He is our master and we have to act under his direction. Like this Prabhupada has told till now. Then after this, he gives the conclusion. Then how we can know the direction of Krishna. And before also many times we have discussed. And the sources, how we can come to know what is our prescribed duty. And at that time I have mentioned that we can come to know our prescribed duty from the scriptures, and also from the our bona fide spiritual master. These are the two ways. Similarly, how we can come to know the direction of Krishna? So from the Krishna himself and through the scriptures. And another way is through our bona fide spiritual master, who is a representative of Krishna. So under their direction, we have to act. In this way, Prabhupada has told the meaning of this verse. Then some points from the so more in continuation of this, acting according to your nature. And so in this connection only, Krishna explained the next verse. So what is the verse? Svabhavajena kaunteya nibadha svena karmana kartum nechasi anmohat karishyasi avashopitat. Under illusion, you are now declining to act according to my direction. And so Arjuna is ready, not ready for the fighting. So that's why Krishna is telling like this. And so you are under illusion. That's why you are declining. to act according to his direction, but compelled by the work born of your own nature. So in the previous verse, so we may think it as a repetitive by your own nature. But actually, in the previous verse, Krishna is used the word ahankara. That Prabhupada has translated as nature. And so that's why Krishna originally is not repeating, and he is giving the uh, detail. And so what is the meaning of that ahankara? Acting according to your own nature. But Prabhupada, he knows the next verse. That's why in previous verse also, Prabhupada has translated that ahankara into your own nature. And so that's why that is also correct and translation is correct. And so now Krishna is telling that by the work born of your nature, you will act all the same. O son of Kunti. So very short. That what Prabhupada is telling, if one refuses to act under the direction of the Supreme Lord, then he is compelled to act by the modes in which he is situated. The person will act according to the modes, and also he will act or according to his nature. And these two things can be done simultaneously. He will act under modes according to his nature. Everyone is under the spell of particular combination of modes that we studied before only. If he is not on the transcendental level, and he will be under the modes. He is not practicing bhakti and he is not under direction, means there is no doubt that that person is in the three modes, is acting in that way. But anyone who voluntarily engages himself under the direction of the Lord becomes glorious. So one who voluntarily, because we have free will, and Krishna only has given us that minute amount of free will. So if we use our free will in engaging under the Krishna's direction according to our nature, then what happens? Then that is glorious. That becomes the devotional service. And that's why it is glorious. And so one may think why Prabhupada has written here glorious. And well, that is devotional service. That's why it is glorious. Okay. So now Krishna has till now what he has told, that act under his direction, but how? According to Swabhava. But then one may have doubt that is this Swabhava is higher than Krishna. So to clarify this doubt that Swabhava is not higher than Krishna. So Krishna is above the Swabhava. That point Krishna wanted to clarify. So that's why he mentions the next verse. So Swabhava is not the highest. Krishna is, Ishvara is high. Now Krishna is using here third person. And he's not telling he is highest. He's telling Ishvara is highest. That Ishvara is highest. Ishvara sarva bhutanam riddeshu arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantrarudhani mayaya. So Krishna is telling the Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart. O Arjuna, and he is directing the wanderings of all living entities. So he's telling that Lord is only directing, and nature is not the supreme, but Lord is directing. Who are seated as on a machine, and living entities are in the machine, and body is a machine, yantra rudhani mayaya, and this body is made up of material energy. So what point Krishna has mentioned that so Lord is situated in everyone's heart, in the region of heart, and in the heart means in the region of heart. There are two types of heart. It's our biological heart which is an organ, and there is one, you can say that, uh, metaphorical heart, and uh, which generates the emotion and in our body, that heart. So so Krishna causes the wandering, means he sanctions the desire, as the Paramatma that we know. He is directing, means he is sanctioning, and so he is situated there as a Paramatma in all living entity, and he is directing, means what he is doing, he sanctions, that we know, that Jiva desires and material nature fulfills, and Paramatma, he sanctions. That sanctioning, direction, meaning of direction is here, that is sanctioning by situating in the heart. So this is the meaning of this verse. Somebody can read the purport.
Arjuna was not the supreme knower, and his decision to fight or not to fight was confined to his limited discretion. Lord Krishna instructed that the individual is not all in all. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, or He Himself, Krishna, as the localized Supersoul, sits in the heart, directing the living being. After changing bodies, the living entity forgets his past deeds, but the Supersoul, as the knower of the past, present, and future, remains the witness of all his activities. Therefore, all the activities of living entities are directed by this Supersoul. The living entity gets what he deserves and is carried by the material body, which is created in the material energy under the direction of the supersoul. As soon as the living entity is placed in a particular type of body, he has to work under the spell of that bodily situation. A person seated in a high speed motor car goes faster than the one seated in the slow car. Though the living entities, the drivers, may be the same, similarly, by the order of the Supreme Soul, material nature fashions a particular type of body to a particular type of living entity so that he may work according to his past desires. The living entity is not independent. One should not think himself independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The individual is always under the Lord's control. Therefore, the sharing got lost.
Lost.
Sharing, yeah.
Oh, visible.
Yes, bro. The individual is
Last
always
line.
the individual is always under the Lord's control. Therefore, one's duty is to surrender, and that is the injunction of the next verse.
Thank you, bro. So, Prabhupada, in summary, first he is now, he mentions in the first part that Arjuna was not the supreme knower. And so how the Arjuna's understanding, and so how this verse is pointing out the Arjuna's limited thinking and limited, his limited discernment. And Prabhupada is telling that uh, how this verse is helping and to decide Arjuna. So he first point Prabhupada mentions that he was not the supreme knower. And then from whom he has to know? From the Krishna. So, and Lord, what he has told him, that he is not all in all, and he is not the supreme knower. Like this, Krishna has told him. And Lord is only directing us as a Paramatma. How? According to our uh, past deeds. And Lord is directing us. Clear? Visible? Very fast. Lord is directing according to our past deed. Like this, he mentioned, Prabhupada is mentioning. And also the living entities, Prabhupada tells that living entity in one body has to work under the spell of modes. According to the modes he act. Whenever a living entity he gets a body, he acts according to the modes of material nature. Then after that, Prabhupada gives one analogy. So how a person seated in a high-speed motor car goes faster than one seated in a slower car. And so what is the meaning? Though the living entity, the driver may be the same. And so the driver of the both the cars is the same. And a fast-moving car and slow-moving car is the same. But why the fast-moving car is moving fast? Because of the capacity of the engine. So similarly, so our bodies, and they are different, our material bodies, and that's why somebody is a intelligent, somebody is a beautiful, and so that is in connection with our past acts, past desires, and past karma. Like this we can say. So to clarify this, Prabhupada has given this analogy of the vehicles. From this, what we can understand, the living entity is not independent. He has to depend on the kind of body he has received and all other things, like we saw that before also, that for performing any activity and to get the result of any activity, and the result is depends on the 5 factors, and already we have seen this. So similarly, Prabhupada is making point here that living entity is not independent. So that's why better course of action for the living entity, and a conclusion Prabhupada is giving, that duty of living entity is what? Surrender and to the Lord, because he is not independent. And so when we understand that we are not independent, then better surrender to the Lord, because anyway we have to depend on something. So better to depend on the Lord. So like this, one can act under the direction of super soul or the Lord. So now continuing this same thing and acting under Krishna's direction. So Krishna is mentioning surrender to him, because you are not uh, independent. So better you surrender to me. So you will be under nature if you are not under my direction. So better be under my direction. Like this Krishna is telling. So he is telling, Tameva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam.
The sharing is lost.
translation of the verse. Ocean of Bharata, surrender unto him utterly. So surrender to that Ishvara, who is situated in the heart. By his grace, you will attain transcendental peace and supreme and eternal abode. Yes. So if one surrenders to that Ishvara, who is situated in the heart of all living entities, then what we will get? By grace of that Ishvara, one will get the transcendental peace, the supreme and eternal abode. So one will get the Shanti, not only Shanti, but Param Shanti and Shashvat Sthan, and the eternal place. And these two things one will get by surrendering to that Ishvara. So if one surrenders to what Krishna is telling, Sarva Bhavena, one wholeheartedly surrenders to that Ishvara, then only one will get. One superficially, if one surrenders in all respects and wholeheartedly, that Prabhupada has translated utterly and wholeheartedly. Utterly, meaning of this word utterly is wholeheartedly. Then only, and if one may think that I have surrendered, but still I have not received the transcendental peace and the supreme abode. For that, one has to surrender wholeheartedly and completely, utterly. Then here Krishna has mentioned the transcendental peace, Param Shanti. So, what is the meaning of this? Is that Chaitanya Charan Prabhu is mentioning that there is a peace of mind and peace of heart. So, what is the peace of mind? He tells that no anxieties or troubles. Then our mind is peaceful. And so, peace of mind means there is no anxiety or troubles in his life. So that is, then mind will be peaceful. But this Param Shanti means what? Transcendental peace means peace of heart. And this peace of heart is that peace that peace of mind is subset of that peace of heart. So one point is extra in the peace of heart, and peace of mind plus the peace that somebody loves me, and or I am loving somebody, and so that kind of peace comes. That is peace of heart. Means this transcendental peace, the person who is getting transcendental peace, what he gets is that he gets the peace of mind, that there will be no, he thinks that there is no anxiety, and although there is anxiety, he is not disturbed, and he thinks that I have no anxiety, no troubles, and still he loves the Lord, and Lord also loves him, and that is his feeling. And this is the meaning of Param Shanti. And Prabhuji, Chaitanya Charan Prabhu has mentioned this. And the meaning of Param Shanti, transcendental peace, is that person, he thinks that he doesn't have any trouble in his life. He doesn't have any anxiety. And he is loving the Lord. And he thinks that Lord is also loving him. And that is his feeling. That. And Param Sthanam. This is Param Shanti. Param Sthanam means Shashvat Sthanam, the abode of the Lord. That is Param Sthanam. So Krishna is giving him both the things. This we understand here. Somebody can read the purport.
A living
Hare Krishna.
entity should
Yes, Prabhuji.
A
a
living
living
entity
entity
should... Okay, Prabhuji, go ahead.
okay. The living entity should therefore surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in everyone's heart, and that will relieve him from all kinds of misery of this material existence. By such surrender, not only will one be released from all miseries in this life, but at the end he will reach the Supreme God. The transcendental world is described in the Vedic literature, Rig Veda 1.22.20, as Tat Vishnu Paramam Padam. Since all of creation is the kingdom of God, everything material is actually spiritual, but Paramam Padam specifically refers to the eternal abode, which is called the spiritual sky or Vaikuntha. In the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Sarvasya Chaham Ridhi Tanivista. The Lord is seated in everyone's heart. So, this recommendation that one should surrender unto the Super Soul sitting within means that one should surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Krishna has already been accepted by Arjuna as the Supreme. He was accepted in the 10th chapter as Param Brahma Param Dhamma. Arjuna has accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the supreme abode of all living entities, not only because of his personal experience, but also because of the evidence of great authorities like Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa.
Thank you, Proji. So, so what Prabhupada is mentioning here, that he's telling that therefore surrender to the Lord, Supreme Lord. Why? Because you will get these two things, Param Shanti and Param Sthanam, and Shanti and Sthana, Param Shanti and Param Sthana. So that's why you surrender to the Lord, like this, which Krishna has told, that Prabhupada is repeating. And surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is, now Krishna is not telling here that surrender to me, but surrender to that Paramatma, that Ishvara, who is living in your heart, everybody's heart. Then from this surrender, Prabhupada is telling, one will be freed from the all miseries in this life. Means he will get the Param Shanti. So he will be freed from the all miseries. Why he will be free? Because he will achieve that Param Shanti. And at the end, he will achieve the Param Sthanam. So Prabhupada is telling, after death, he will achieve that Param Sthanam. Then that Param Sthanam. So for this, Prabhupada gives the one reference from Rig Veda. So what is that? Tad Vishnu Paramam Padam. So that Param Sthana means, what is that Param Sthana? Is the eternal abode of the Lord. That is the spiritual sky. Like this. And it is called the Vaikuntha. That is the Adhyatmik. And the spiritual sky, spiritual abode, eternal abode. Like this, Prabhupada has mentioned. Also, he has given the reference for that Param Sthanam. Then, after that, he mentions the Krishna has mentioned to surrender to Super Soul and Ishvara in the heart. But we can understand that Super Soul, Ishvara, is Krishna only. And for this thing, to prove this thing, Prabhupada has given the two references. So what are the two references? So both are from Bhagavad Gita. And one is from 15th chapter. That's Sarvasya Chaham Radhi Sannivishto. So Lord is there in everyone's heart. That's why surrender to Krishna. So here we come to know Sarvasya Chaham Radhi Sannivishtam. That one who is sitting in the heart is Krishna only. So surrendering to Krishna. And like this Prabhupada is telling, surrender to Super Soul means we can understand this as surrender to Krishna, like this Prabhupada is telling. Another is Arjuna has accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the 10th chapter, Param Brahma Param Dhama. And So Param Dhama and is what? Param Sthana is what? Krishna only. So that's why surrendering to super soul is surrendering to Krishna. This is the conclusion Prabhupada has taken here from these two references. Like this, Prabhupada has explained the purport. So now, till now, what Krishna has explained, and we'll just see in the brief. So we saw that from the verse 45th, 41st and to 55th, and he has mentioned the gradual progress and through karma yoga, then through jnana yoga, moksha, and to bhakti yoga. Like this he has explained. Then slow process, how one leads to other. Karma yoga is leading to jnana yoga, and how jnana yoga is leading to bhakti yoga. And this Krishna has mentioned in the 45th to 55th verse. Sorry, 41st to 55th verse. Then after this, and what he has mentioned in 56 to 58, and work under my direction. And so direct bhakti yoga and rapid way of practicing bhakti yoga he has mentioned. Then he's 59 and 68, he has mentioned the if one doesn't follow and if one doesn't act under the direction of Krishna, then what happened? He is acting under false ego. Like this he has explained. Then this 61 and 62, what he has explained is act under the direction of Ishvara, and what one gets by acting and surrendering to that Ishvara. And like this he has mentioned till 61st and 62nd verse. So in this, there is one concept Krishna is speaking, that acting for the Lord Ishvara, but how one will act, how one will act according to his nature. So then question may arise that how to identify our nature. So now here identifying our nature, and so purpose of when the question comes that how we can decide our nature. So for this one has to be clear that for deciding what is our nature, and so there is not much analysis required and for what is our nature. And so we may have some combination of nature also, and because it is very difficult task to find out what is our nature. And so what is the easy way to decide our nature is in which service we find ourselves internally comfortable, in performing which activity or which type of service we are internally comfortable, and externally we are competent, means in one sense we are able to make justice for that activity, and externally internally we are comfortable, and externally if we are competent or we are expert, that is okay, and that is very good. Externally if we are expert, if we are not so much expert, then at least we should make justice to that service. And justice, making justice means we should complete this service and in a dutiful way at least. So if these two criteria are fulfilled, and internally we should be also feel some sense of satisfaction. Comfortables mean some sense of satisfaction we are feeling by doing this service and any service, any activity, and in our externally we are able to do that activity. Then we can find out that this activity falls under my swabhava. This is my nature. And so this is very easy way to select our nature. If somebody wants to go in detail, then he can read one book by Urmila Mataji, titled as Career Dharma. And the title of book is Career Dharma, by Urmila Mataji. That book you can read if you have that desire. But this is the very easy way to identify what is our nature. And we should be internally comfortable and externally expert in that activity. Then one question may come that we have found out and something is some activity is our nature, and we have some kind of skill set and for doing that activity. Then we should not reject that in which type of activity we are comfortable. Suppose I am comfortable in assisting others, and then I should not repress this activity of assisting others, thinking that I don't want to assist others. So I should not avoid or reject. This is my nature to help others, and this is my nature. And that is rejection. One is not assisting others. Also, his nature is to assist others, and that is rejection. And then another is that he is not serving others, and he is not assisting others, and so that kind of attitude we should not have. And this is also one of the protection or one of the precaution, we can say, not protection, one of the precaution we can take, and that whatever is our nature, and we should not avoid that. And but instead what we have to do, we have to express our nature. So whatever is our nature, where internally where we are comfortable, and externally also we are competent or expert in doing that activity. So we have to express ourselves through that activity and dedicate our activities for Krishna. So like this, we can identify our nature. This is very easy way to identify our nature. So now Krishna is telling now, he will tell more secret knowledge to Arjuna. And from the 63rd verse, and he tells that he will give the more guhya jnana, guhyatama jnana, more secret knowledge, whatever till now he has spoken. That we will see after the break. We'll meet at 6:45. 10 minutes break we'll take. So we'll begin with the 63rd verse. Iti te jnanam akyatam guhyam, guhyat guhyataram maya vimrushchet asheshena yathechasi tatha kuru. So Krishna is explaining here that iti te jnanam akyatam. Thus I have explained to you knowledge still more confidential. So this is the most confidential knowledge Krishna is telling, whatever he has explained till now. Then what he's telling after that, deliberate on this fully. So you think on whatever I have told you till now, then do what you wish to do. And so Krishna is giving here free will to Arjuna. And so many places and in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has told. And so if one is faithful, and then what happens to such a person? If one who is unfaithful, then what happens to such person? And so whenever Krishna mentions and anything, he gives the choice there. If you do this, then what? This will happen. If you do that, then this will happen. So like this only Krishna told till now. So here also Krishna has mentioned and a few verses before, and I think in 60 around, that if you do act under my direction, then Krishna is telling that it will be good. If you doesn't act under my direction, then you are acting under the direction of false ego. So everywhere Krishna gives the choices to Arjuna. So that's why sometimes devotees, they call this as Bhagavad Gita is a book of choices, and it is not commandment like in Christian or other traditions. They give commandment, do this, you have to obey this. So like this is not the Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita always gives the choices. So then also Chaitanya Charan Prabhu, he has taken the personal application lesson from this verse, that Bhagavad Gita doesn't impose anything forcefully, and it gives choices to us, and we can understand from this verse. And also and then how Bhagavad Gita teaches us, like a parents, and they teach their child how to use money. And so like for this, they train their child, and after that they give him 1,000 rupee. And uh, then what is the purpose of this parents giving him 1,000 rupees? Because instead of telling that you do not purchase chocolate and with this 1,000 rupee, and the parents first train the child and how to use the money, and after that they give the money, and like this we can understand. This is the Krishna's method of parenting. Like this also Chaitanya Charan Prabhu is telling. Then like parents, they train their children and how to use the money properly. And so like this, Krishna, how he has trained Arjuna in the using whatever valuable thing he has already be given. So Arjuna has got the human form of life. So Krishna has already trained him, and so how to use the valuable human form of life which Arjuna has received. And then after that, Krishna is telling that deliberate on the instruction, whatever he has given, and then you act according to your wish. So like this, some practical application also Prabhuji has taken. And then we will study the Prabhupada purport. Somebody can read the purport.
Yes. The Lord has already explained to Arjuna the knowledge of Brahma Bhuta. One who is in the Brahma Bhuta condition is joyful, he never laments, nor does he desire anything. That is due to the confidential knowledge. Krishna also discloses knowledge of is also Brahman knowledge, knowledge of Brahman, but it is superior. Here the words Yadichasi Tat Kuru, as you like, you may act, indicate that God does not interfere with the little independence of the living entity. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has explained in all respects how one can elevate his living condition. The best advice imparted to Arjuna is to surrender unto the super soul seated within his heart. By right discrimination, one should agree to act according to the order of the super soul. That will help one become situated constantly in Krishna consciousness, the highest perfectional stage of human life. Arjun, Arjuna is being directly ordered by the personality. Surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is in the best interest of the living entities. It is not for the interest of the Supreme. Before surrendering, one is free to deliberately act on this subject as far as the intelligence goes. That is the best way to accept the instruction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such instruction comes also through the spiritual master, the bona fide representative of Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So what point Prabhupada is making here, that Prabhupada begins with the Yathechasi Tatha Kuru. So Krishna is giving the, before this also Prabhupada has mentioned, the how this knowledge is Guhyatam knowledge. And that point Prabhupada has mentioned. That the Krishna he has spoken that Brahma Bhuta and a stage. That knowledge and that person on the Brahma Bhuta stage, he doesn't lament and or he doesn't have desire for anything. That is also confidential knowledge, but that is Guhyatar. But this knowledge is the Guhyatam knowledge compared to the knowledge of which mentioned previously. That how this knowledge is a Guhyatam, surrendering to super soul. That knowledge is Guhyatam knowledge. But then after that, he mentioned the Yathechasi Tatha Kuru. So in this, what Prabhupada is mentioning, so what is the meaning of Yathechasi Tatha Kuru? As you like, you may act. So the meaning of this Prabhupada has taken that God doesn't interfere with the little independence of the living entity. Yeah. God, Lord always give the freedom to living entity. And in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord has explained in all respects. And if you do this, what will happen? If you do like this, then what will happen? This is the meaning of all respects. How one can elevate his living condition. And so that Lord has explained. The best advice imparted to Arjuna is, but the best advice is surrender to Super Soul, who is situated in the heart. Act under his direction. Under the direction of Super Soul. So that will make everybody into Krishna conscious. And the highest perfectional stage of life is Krishna consciousness is the highest stage. So this is the best way to surrender to the Lord. And in this interest, Lord is not getting anything. So there is not Lord's interest in surrendering. But before surrendering, one can think, and with intelligence, one can surrender to the Lord. When he understands that best way for me is to surrender to the Lord, at that time only one can surrender to the Lord. And I like this Prabhupada still. And surrender to the Lord and a direction of the Lord is come from the Lord himself and the spiritual master, who is bona fide. Like this, Prabhupada mentions. Then, now Krishna has told the deliberate on the instruction, means think on the instruction, what he has told. Then Arjuna is thinking on the instruction. Because Krishna has told him, till now, whatever I have told, you give thought to whatever I have spoken. Then Arjuna goes into the deep thought. And what should I do? Should I fight or not fight? In which mode I should fight? And so Arjuna is thinking and thinking, but still he is not coming to any conclusion. Then because Krishna loves, because of his love, and Krishna is feeling of Krishna is that his heart is overflowing with his compassion for Arjuna. And then Krishna knows that Arjuna is very faithful to me, and he is my devotee, he is my friend. And so Krishna understand that Arjuna is not able to come to conclusion, although he is thinking and he is trying very much. That's why Krishna then, because of his compassion, he is guiding him. And in the next verse also, he has, now in 63rd verse, Krishna told Arjuna to think, but then Arjuna is not able to come to conclusion. Because of that, Krishna is again guiding Arjuna. From the 64th verse also, in the 64th verse also, because of his compassion. And although he has told that you think, but still he is guiding. So what is Krishna's guidance? We will see. Sarva guhyatamam bhuyah. So guhyatam, in the previous verse, Krishna has told, he has spoken the guhyatam knowledge. So now, in this verse, Krishna is telling Sarva Guhyatamam Bhuyah. Bhuyah means once again. And once again, I will tell you the same thing which I have told you previously, which is Guhyatam, which is the highest thing. Shrunu me parama vacha. This highest instruction you hear from me. And Shrunu me, hear from me. Ishthosi me dradamiti. So what will happen? By hearing this, you will be determined, dradhamiti, very determined. Because ishthosi, you are very dear, and that's why I'm telling, and you will become determined. Tato vakshami te hitam, and I am telling this for your benefit. Vakshami, I am telling, I am speaking. So because you are my very friend and ishtosi, and I am speaking to you my supreme instruction, and guhyatam, the most confidential knowledge of all. And again he is telling, here it is not there again, but Krishna has used the word guhyah, again he is telling. Before also he has told, now he will tell again. Hear this from me, how it is for, sorry, how is not it. Hear this from me, for it is your benefit, because it will help you in taking decision. So that's why you will hear from me. So like this, Krishna has told Arjuna that you are not able to come to the conclusion, and you are my friend Ishtosi. That's why I will again tell you. So Krishna is guiding Arjuna. It is not like, we can understand here that it is not like our college guidance or school guidance. And so where teacher guides for money to the student. And so Krishna is giving here guidance. He is also teaching. And but for what purpose? To for his benefit, for the student's benefit, and not for his own benefit. So this is not like a material relationship of a teacher-student, but a spiritual relationship of teacher and a student, where teacher guides the students for their own benefit and not for his benefit. And so from this verse, we can understand the Krishna is giving the very important guidance and to Arjuna from the next verse onward. And because in this verse, what he is telling, that I am going to tell you the most confidential knowledge again. And so most confidential knowledge will come from which verse? 65th verse. And like this also, we can understand. Purport, somebody can read.
The Lord has given Arjuna knowledge that is confidential, knowledge of Brahman, and still more confidential, knowledge of the super soul within everyone's heart. And now he is giving the most confidential part of knowledge. Just surrender onto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At the end of the 9th chapter, he has said, Man mana, just always think of me. The same instruction is repeated here to stress the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. This essence is not understood by a common man, but by one who is actually very dear to Krishna, a pure devotee of Krishna. This is the most important instruction in all Vedic literature. What Krishna is saying in this connection is the most essential part of knowledge, and it should be carried out not only by Arjuna, but by all living entities.
Thank you. So Prabhupada is telling here that what is the most confidential knowledge. So first Prabhupada has mentioned the confidential knowledge. That is the knowledge of the Brahman. The more confidential is knowledge of the super soul. And the most confidential knowledge is surrender to the Lord. So this is the Prabhupada is telling. These are the 3 categories of the knowledge. Then Prabhupada is telling them Manmana Bhava Madbhakto, which Krishna will tell next. And that is his most confidential knowledge, which Krishna is telling, that he has given previously also. And so that's why Krishna has used the word here, Bhuyaha. And previously also he has given, again he is giving. And that's why this chapter is also called as summary study. And so here Krishna is not speaking anything new. And so whatever he has spoken, that only he is summarizing. So then here Prabhupada is telling, before also he has mentioned the verse which he is going to mention in next. Manmana Bhava Madbhakto. The meaning of this verse is, we know that always think of me and worship me, like these 4 things that Krishna has told. So this is the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, like this Prabhupada is telling. So this is not generally understood by a common person, will not understand, and unless somebody tells him. But a devotee can understand. And this is the most important instruction to practice devotional service. Manmana Bhava Madbhakto. And also so it is not only for Arjuna, but for all of us, for all living entities. That is also important point Prabhupada is telling, that all of us should practice this instruction. which is the most confidential knowledge. Krishna has not told, but before only Prabhupada has told in his purport. So now, actually, Krishna is giving the most confidential knowledge. So what is the most confidential knowledge? Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhya jimam namaskuru mam e vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. So what is the most confidential knowledge? Always think of me, always think of Krishna, become Krishna's devotee, worship Krishna, offer your homage unto Krishna. And thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this. Because you are my very dear friend. This is the meaning. And if you see the verse in the 9th chapter, so that verse is what? Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhya jimam namaskuru. After that, mame vaishyasi, that is same. After that, there is a change. The 9.34, what it says? Mam e vaishyasi yuktvevam. And satyam te. Instead of this, what is there? Yuktvevam. So, vevam. We'll understand what is the difference between the two words also. Yuktvevam. Then, pratijane priyosime. Instead of this, and what is there in 9.31? Sorry, 34 is atmanam. Atmanam mat parayana. So then how the meaning changes? And so because of this 1.5 line is not similar with this verse. And so because of this, what is, where the difference is coming. So meaning of the verse of 9.34 is engage your mind always in thinking of me, become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, worship me, being completely absorbed in me. And here, being completely absorbed in me. Krishna is saying, surely you will come to me. So whatever I have written is the meaning that is coming in instead of this part, and which I have crossed. So what is the main difference? Somebody has identified. What is the difference between the 9.34 and then this 18.65? So difference is from the 9.34 here. It is from the side of Arjuna, we can say. Why we can say it is from the side of Arjuna? Because what is happening in 9.34? Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, offer your homage unto me, being completely absorbed in me, and surely you will come to me. Here, who is acting? Arjuna is only acting. Krishna just instructed, and you will do this. And Arjuna is thinking, and he, because he's completely absorbed in Krishna, Arjuna, he'll surely come to Krishna, and like this Krishna has told. But now it is Krishna's love, and he's coming out in a more intensity, and what he is telling, thus you will come to me without fail. And So here Krishna is promising and without fail, and I will promise, and prati jane, I will promise. And now Krishna is acting. He is promising. But in 9.34, he is not acting. Krishna is not acting. Arjuna is acting. And what Krishna is doing? I will promise you this because you are my devotee and friend. Priya, because you are Priya. And so, main difference here is 18.65, and Krishna is acting. He is telling what he will do for Arjuna. And if he does the fourth thing, and so this is the meaning. And in 9.34, if Arjuna does this fourth thing, what he will get? And he will be absorbed in Krishna and he will achieve Krishna. And he will achieve Krishna's abode. And but here the stress is what Krishna will do for Arjuna. Yeah. So this is the difference, and this should also be clear to us, because otherwise it will appear, this verse and the 9.34 is same only, and but it is not same. And so there is difference in the emotions, and there is difference in who is acting. And in this verse, Krishna is acting, and in 9.34, Arjuna is active, and he is acting. So this is the difference. Then regarding this verse, so Krishna has told that he is promising. So why he has used the word that he is promising? So our acharyas, they have told that generally person, and he has some witness, and when he is speaking, he has some witness, then what happens? Then that words are taken seriously. And if there is witness, what person is speaking for that. But if one is proclaiming, one is promising, and that is taken more seriously. And so Krishna has used the word pratijane, I will promise, because Krishna wants that these words of Krishna, and which are very guhyatam, and so these words, Arjuna should take it seriously. So anybody who is hearing these words should take it very seriously. So that's why Krishna is using the word pratijane. He is promising. And so like this, one reason acharyas, they have given. And so that the listeners or Arjuna, and they can be very serious while hearing this instruction of Krishna. Clear? So this is also one of the point which acharyas they have highlighted. We'll hear from the Prabhupada. Somebody can read.
The most confidential part of knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. One should not become an official meditator. Life should be so molded that one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. One should always act in such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot but think of Krishna. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such pure Krishna consciousness will certainly return to the abode of Krishna, where he will be engaged in the association of Krishna face to face. This most confidential part of knowledge is spoken to Arjuna because he is the dear friend of Krishna. Everyone who follows the path of Arjuna can become a dear friend to Krishna and obtain the same perfection as Arjuna. These words stress that one should concentrate his mind upon Krishna, the very form with two hands carrying a flute, the bluish boy with a beautiful face and peacock feathers in his hair. There are descriptions of Krishna found in the Brahma Samhita and other literatures. One should fix his mind on this original form of Godhead, Krishna, One should not even divert his attention to other forms of the Lord. The Lord has multi-forms as Vishnu, Narayan, Rama, Varaha, etc. But a devotee should concentrate his mind on the form that was present before Arjun. The concentration of the mind on the form of Krishna constitutes the most confidential part of knowledge, and this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Krishna's.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So Prabhupada is telling here the how this is most confidential part. And so what is the most confidential part is that one should become the devotee of Krishna. And because manmana bhava mad bhakto, Krishna only has told, become my devotee. Then always think of me and act for me. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyajima namaskuru, and worship me and offer respects unto me. And become my devotee, think of me and act for me. And so this is the most confidential thing, and that we know. Then one should not become an official meditator. So just for the namesake, and we should not uh, become his devotee, but from the wholeheartedly. One word came before, sarva bhavena. And so one should become Krishna's devotee with heart and wholeheartedly. And life should be molded that one will always have to chance to think of Krishna. So we have to act in a such a way, and so that we should have time and to practice the devotional service exclusively. So this is the very important personal application point which we can apply. And so we may have many other duties also, and which are required, and so that we should not avoid also, and that we should take care as our duty. But while performing that duty also, and at the same time we should have some exclusive time, at least the chanting time daily, on the daily basis, and other like studies and all. And if we have time for that also for daily basis, that is good, but at least on weekly, but at least for the chanting, and we should have exclusive time on the daily basis, and one will always have the chance to think of Krishna. One should always act in a such a way that all his daily activities are in connection with Krishna. He should arrange his life in a such a way that throughout the 24 hours he cannot but think of Krishna. So always 24 hours if we are able to think, that is very nice. And the Lord's promise is that anyone who is in such a pure Krishna consciousness, and now Krishna's part, and if we do our part, then Krishna will do his part. And what is Krishna's part? That he will bring us to his planets. He will give his association so that we can see him face to face. This is the most confidential part. So everyone who follows in the footsteps of Arjuna will become the dear to Krishna and become his devotee. And also one can achieve the same perfection as Arjuna. So now whose form should we concentrate on? The Krishna only, not other avatars form. Like this Prabhupada has told in the second paragraph. And he has mentioned some details of, no, he has not mentioned, he has just mentioned that the description, here it is mentioned, he has two hands, Krishna has, and he's carrying flute, his color, Prabhupada has mentioned, and his face is beautiful, peacock feathers. in his hair, on his head. And this description is given in Brahma Samhita, Prabhupada has mentioned. And one should meditate on only Krishna's form, not others' form, not the forms of his avatars also. So after mentioning that the most confidential knowledge to Arjuna, then Krishna is mentioning that thinking Arjuna's internal consciousness. And so there are two different points given here, that it is Arjuna may think that you are telling to become your devotee and to act for you and to offer homage unto you, that you have told. But doing this, there are many difficulty. I have many other duties also. So I have some other religious duty, other dharmas also. And like this, Arjuna is thinking. So Krishna is answering that point in next verse. So what to do with other dharmas? And so this is also one of the explanation. And another explanation which acharyas they have given, that so one may doubt that one can able to take advantage of Krishna's verse and render the quality of pure devotional service that Krishna has requested. So one is doubting his own ability, that although Krishna has told and to offer homage unto him, act for him, but one is doubting and that am I qualified to do this or not? And then he thinks, oh, I am not qualified. Then what I will do? I will first practice the austerities, and I will do different kinds of vratas, and I will purify myself and by practicing renunciation, and like this one thinks. And after that I will do, and after doing these things, and after doing these vows, rituals, and the purificatory, different kinds of purificatory methods, and one thinks that I will become able or qualified to practice these things which Krishna has told. So to refute that, so Krishna is telling, no, you give up all your purificatory practices and you give up all your lower dharmas and just surrender to me. So like this also, there are two different explanations which our devotees they have given. And so as a link between this verse and next verse. Then Krishna thinking in these two different kinds of consciousness, and Krishna speaks the next verse, verse 66. Sarvadharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shucha. Krishna is telling, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. So abandon your thinking that you will practice all purificatory practices and you will become qualified to render devotional service. To give up that misconception, give up all that, or abandon these things and surrender to me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. So Arjuna is also another, according to another explanation. So Arjuna is thinking that I have other duties, other religious duties to perform. So Krishna is telling, give up all your lower religious duty. Just surrender to me. And I will, ma shucha, do not worry, do not fear. And I will take care of the sins which you get by not performing your other religious duty. And because we know that if we have not performed our duties, then we will get sin. So Krishna is telling that I will take care of your sin, but you practice devotional service. And you give priority to devotional service. So this is the meaning of verse. So what is happening in this verse? So Krishna has told that give up all your lower dharma. And so we have studied before, and why Krishna incarnates, he has mentioned, and in the 4th chapter, and why he comes, that to establish the dharma and a religion, he comes in this material world. But now what he is telling, give up all these low sarva dharman paritej, give up all other dharmas, religion. And so we may find it as a contradictory to each other. And so Krishna comes to establish dharma, and now he is telling, give up the dharma. So like this one may think, and he is telling that just surrender unto him. So like this, we feel there may be contradiction, but it is not contradiction. How we can understand? Then after hearing this Krishna's instruction, Arjuna has not acted adharmically. And then what is the meaning of this? Give up all varieties of religion. So now what Krishna is mentioning here, so there is a adharma, and there is a adharma, and there are other dharmas, and there is a paradharma, bhakti, and 3 things. So Krishna is telling, give up all your dharma. And so meaning is not that giving all your dharma and practice adharma. This is not the meaning. And giving up all your dharma, what Krishna is telling, paradharma, practice paradharma, bhakti, surrender unto me is the paradharma, bhakti. And so this is the meaning. And so it is not contradicting Krishna's previous statement. And so this paradharma is higher than dharma. So Krishna comes to establish dharma. And what Krishna has told, give up that dharma also and practice the paradharma, which is the highest, and that is bhakti yoga, surrender to Krishna. So there are 3 levels, and below is the adharma, above that is dharma, and above that is paradharma or bhakti. So that's why the Krishna's previous statement that he comes to establish dharma is not contradicting this statement which he has spoken here in this verse 18.66. This is also one of the common question which may come in our mind. Then so Krishna, he has mentioned here mam eka, to surrender only to me, mam eka sharanam vraja, not to anything else. Why he has told like this? So one of the explanation which acharyas they have given, because this is our heart, and then if we surrender to Krishna, and who will be there in the heart? Only Krishna. And if we surrender only to Krishna, then only Krishna will be there. And if we surrender to many things, and or 2 things, then in some part Krishna will be there, and some part Krishna will not be there. And so that's why Krishna has told only him. And so that's why in our whole heart, Krishna will be there. And so we can love him wholeheartedly. And so this is also one of the reason which is given, that why Krishna has mentioned here, Mam Ekam, only me. And because he wants exclusive love. And our heart and mind, they should think only about him and nothing else. This is the purpose. So this of mentioning Mam Ekam and nothing else, only Krishna. You like this? There is a meaning of this verse. Then you will study the purport. Somebody can read the purport.
The Lord has prescribed various kinds of knowledge and processes of religion. Knowledge of the Supreme Brahman, knowledge of the Supersoul, knowledge of the different types of orders and statuses of social life, knowledge of the renounced order of life, knowledge of non-attachment, sense and mind control, meditation, etc. He has described in so many ways different types of religion. Now, in summarizing Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says that Arjuna should give up all the processes that have been explained to him. He should simply surrender to Krishna. That surrender will save him from all kinds of sinful reactions, for the Lord personally promises to protect him. The seventh chapter it was said that only one who has become free from all sinful reactions can take to the worship of Lord Krishna. Thus, one may think that unless he is free from all sinful reactions, he cannot take to the surrendering process. To such doubts, it is here said that even if one is not free from all sinful reactions, simply by the process of surrendering to Sri Krishna, he is automatically freed. There is no need of strenuous effort to free oneself from sinful reactions. One should unhesitatingly accept Krishna as the supreme savior of all living entities. With faith and love, one should surrender unto him. Hare Krishna.
Right. So what Prabhupada is mentioning, that before in Bhagavad Gita, so Krishna has mentioned that various kinds of knowledge and various processes. The knowledge of Brahman, knowledge of Super Soul, and also Krishna has mentioned different types of orders and 8 orders, right? Sorry, 4 orders of the life and 4 statuses of social lives, and together 8, and different kinds of knowledge in 3 modes. And so like this, Krishna has mentioned many things, and the mind control, meditation, many subjects Krishna has spoken. So now Krishna is telling, keep them aside, give up, and give up all these kinds of knowledge, but surrender to him, and simply surrender to Krishna. And this surrender will save us from all other things. It will protect. Lord is personally promising him. And he will protect us from the sinful reactions also, and if we surrender to the Lord. And in second paragraph, Prabhupada gives that if one is feeling himself and unqualified, so for surrender, and then Lord is telling, give up, and I will take care of your sinful reaction, of your all disqualification. I will take care, but you just surrender to me, and no need to perform any kinds of purificatory practices and a strenuous effort to surrender. This surrendering with faith and love, and if we are surrendering to the Lord, then everything is taken care. Like this Prabhupada is telling. Now, Prabhupada is mentioning the process of surrender from the Hari Bhakti Vilas, which Bhakti Vinod Thakur has mentioned. Somebody can read.
The process of surrender to Krishna is described in Hari Bhakti Vilas 11.676. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam rakshasisya vishvaso goptra goptratve varnam tatha atmanikshepakarpanye sadvidha sharanagati shadvidha sharanagati. According to the devotional process, one should simply accept such religious principles that will lead ultimately to the devotional service of the Lord. One may perform a particular occupational duty according to his position in the social order, But if by executing his duty one does not come to the point of Krishna consciousness, all his activities are in vain. Anything that does not lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. One should be confident that in all circumstances, Krishna will protect him from all difficulties. There is no need of thinking how one should keep the body and soul together. Krishna will see to that. One should always think himself helpless and should consider Krishna the only basis for his progress in life. As soon as one as soon as one seriously engages himself in devotional service to the Lord in full Krishna consciousness, at once he becomes freed from all contamination of material nature. There is a different process of religion and purificatory processes by cultivation of knowledge, meditation in the mystic yoga system, etc. But one who surrenders unto Krishna does not have to execute so many methods. That simple surrender unto Krishna will save him from unnecessary wasting time. One can thus make all progress at once and be freed from all sinful reactions. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Pro. So in this part, Prabhupada has quoted from the Hari Bhakti Vilas. And so what Prabhupada is telling on how we can surrender to the Lord. And so this is the process of surrender. If we follow these 6 steps, which are mentioned in this verse, then we can practice the process of surrender. So what are the 6 steps? First is anukulyasya sankalpaha, and means accepting whatever is favorable for our devotional service. So what is meaning of that accepting favorable for our devotional service? So Prabhupada is explaining, one may perform a particular occupational duty according to position in the social order. But if by executing his duty, one doesn't come to the point of Krishna consciousness, all his activities are in vain. And so anything that doesn't lead to the perfectional stage of Krishna consciousness should be avoided. And so whatever is helping in our Krishna consciousness, so that is favorable. And so this is the criteria. If it is helping us in our Krishna consciousness, that is favorable, Prabhupada. And that is different for different person according to his nature and according to his position in the varnashram dharma. So that is different, and that is the we have to decide. So what is favorable for, we have to be honest and decide. Then after that, pratikulyasya varjanam. And so this also, and what is unfavorable, that we have to reject. So this also we have to decide. This is different for different people and according to their position in the social system and according to their nature, according to their capacities. And after that, rakshishaiti vishvaso. So now these 2 things, so they are the action, accepting favorable and rejecting unfavorable. They are the actions we can see. And rakshishaiti vishvaso, gotrutve varnam tatha, and atmanikshep, and karpanye, 4th thing. These 4 things are the emotions which comes in the process of surrender. These are the activities, and these are the 4 others are the emotions. We'll understand what are these 4 things, and we'll stop for today. Rakshishaiti vishvaso. And so what is the meaning of this is Krishna will protect. And so no other thing can protect me. Then he will protect me. And then goptrutve varnam tatha. And means Krishna will maintain me. Goptrutve varnam tatha. He is my maintainer. So no need to think that how I will keep my body and soul together. And atmanikshepa means surrendering to Krishna. And karpanye means atmanikshepa means one thinking oneself as a helpless and surrendering to Krishna, and that is atmanikshepa. And karpanye means whatever progress we are making, and So that progress, and so basis of that progress is Krishna only. And so Krishna only is the basis for our progress. That is karpanya. Matlab means dainya, and feeling dainya, karpanyatva. So whatever I am doing, that is because whatever progress I am making, that is because of Krishna only. I am completely dependent on Krishna only. That is the karpanya. Right? So by practicing these emotions and the first two actions, accepting favorable and rejecting unfavorable, so we can surrender to Krishna. So the remaining part we'll study tomorrow of the purport. We'll stop here. Time is over. If anybody has any question, they can ask.